I am Laura Dixon, and you are listening to the Naturally Thin for Life podcast, episode number 132, Introverted Eating. Welcome to the Naturally Thin for Life podcast. I'm going to teach you how to get out of your diet brain so that you too can be naturally thin for life. No counting, restricting, or obsessing. I am going to take the mystery out of it for you so that you can become naturally thin starting today. Are you ready? Let's do this. Hello, friends. Welcome back to the podcast. So today we're going to talk about introverted eating and whether you're more introverted or extroverted. I'm going to share with you briefly what I mean by each. And if you do find yourself to be more extroverted, you can still 100% use what I discuss in this episode. It might just have a slightly different flavor for you. So don't discount it if you do consider yourself to be more extroverted. And before we dive in, I wanted to share a message that I got from a podcast listener. So Brandy emailed me and she said, I wanted to tell you thank you and how much I love your podcast. I am a busy single parent and also active duty military. I'll be honest, I've only finished a dozen or so episodes, but I've lost 25 pounds in a year almost effortlessly, and I'm amazed by you and your teachings. Come on, 25 pounds! And she's only listened to like a dozen episodes? Come on, this is so cool. And she goes on to say, I also love how many of the topics cover different aspects of my life. I have yet to work on my relationship with champagne, but I'm taking in what I can and not pushing myself to make huge changes. She said, as of today, I am down from 199.9 pounds. She says in parentheses, I refuse to ever believe I hit the 200s to 174 pounds today. She said, I love that I can celebrate on a long weekend and know that I'm not going to gain everything back. And she sent me 2 pictures, a before and an after, and she is just looking so alive and vibrant and happy in the picture that she sent me. And so she also said, I just wanted to tell you thank you with a big exclamation point. And I just wanted to share that with all of you because I want so strongly to debunk the myth and the lie that losing weight and being naturally thin takes so much energy and effort and it's this big thing you have to do and you need to use so much willpower and that you need to force your body to do something that it doesn't want to do. She's lost 25 pounds and listened to a dozen or so episodes. So you all, you can do this. If you are making it harder or more complicated than it needs to be, stop it. That's my word to the wise. Just stop it. And you've heard me share before, and I'm going to share it again in this episode, that the fastest way to your naturally thin body and your naturally thin way of being is being willing to understand the emotions in your body, to be willing to feel your feelings on purpose, and to be willing to love your hunger, love what it feels like to feel energized and nourished and alive and vibrant in your body, to fall in love with feeling so good that the desire to overeat completely loses its power. Okay. So if you too are loving the podcast and getting a lot out of it, leave a review and or send me an email because I love hearing from all of you. It just never ceases to blow my mind that I get to share with you how to be naturally thin over the magic of the internet. You get to listen to it and then enjoy the result of losing weight. So for those of you who consider yourself to be more introverted, I'm going to share briefly kind of what I mean by that. And in the most simplest way, what I mean is if you are more introverted, that you fill up your own energy more so by being by yourself with quiet time, alone time, than you do in social settings. And so when I say extroverted, I mean that you get more of your energy and you fill up your energy tank more so by being around other people. And that's all I'm going to kind of go into as far as introverted or extroverted. And I, my friends, I consider myself to be on the more extreme end of introverted, where I really, really love alone time. I really love to be by myself. And that's where I get a lot of my energy from. And I notice when I am in more social situations, when I am around people more socially, and I'm noticing that more so in the summer and just being kind of like out and about and being around more people. And I really noticed this too in my corporate career, where I would sort of like put on a pleasant face and I would be around people all day and I would sort of put on a pleasant face and sort of like hide my strong-willed, very opinionated self from the world. And I would just be like so exhausted by the end of the day, just being around other people. And now part of that came from me not just being like myself. And so it was like a constant, like in my mind, like, should I say what I think? Should I not say what I think? Like, should I please people? Should I insert my opinion? Like that back and forth. But some of it is just also, I really get a lot of my energy filled up, like my energy tank filled back up from being with myself. But here's the rub that comes with a lot of you other strong-willed, independent, like fast speed, fast processing, overthinking introverts. You need alone time. You need quiet time. You're drawn to downtime and to maybe less social time than your extroverted friends. And you have that strong desire to be alone, to rest, to relax, to rejuvenate, to fill up your energy stores in that way. But at the same time, even though you need that downtime, you want that downtime, you want that alone time to feel energized, you struggle in your ability to be with yourself without a distraction. So if you go on a walk and you always have to listen to a podcast or book or music, or if you're driving in the car and you're always on the phone talking to a friend or a family member or listening to an audiobook or the radio, or if you're getting ready in the morning and you always have some external distraction on, again, like something listening on your phone, or when you are by yourself and your brain is racing and you're worrying and you're doubting and you're stressing about your day. So when this is you, when you need the alone time and the downtime to build your energy back up, but you don't know how to be with yourself without a distraction, enter great opportunity for food and TV and wine and Instagram. And this is where a lot of the introverted eating comes in. We so strongly as introverts desire to be by ourselves, to relax, to have that downtime, but we don't know how to be with our crazy fast brains that are like doubting and worrying and problem solving and just being like sort of the neurotic self that we are sometimes. We don't know how to be and calm down that part of our brain. So then when we want to relax, we often associate it with food, because food does sometimes become a almost instantaneous, very quick, short-lived, by the way, instantaneous like relaxation mechanism, only because it's a distraction, not because it actually creates relaxation. But what happens then is we become what I call an introverted eater, where we just strongly associate calming down and decompressing and relaxing with food. So friends, if you have a strong anticipation for your downtime, but you don't feel alive and rejuvenated after having that downtime, then you're probably not doing it in a way that serves you. So what I mean by this is I used to like so strongly look forward to my downtime. Like I used to have just the strongest anticipation of when I would be able to sit down and watch TV and have my wine and have my snacks and just like not have to. I used to tell myself, well, then I don't have to like worry about anything. Then I don't have to think about anything. But I also didn't know how to be with myself. And so I would just like have such a strong anticipation and feel so protective over my own downtime that if my husband would say a word to me, I would get so mad. I would be like, don't come into my like downtime bubble where it has to be perfect and I need like 20 million distractions all at the same time because I don't know how to calm my brain down myself. But then what happens after that is even though you want that downtime to fill up your energy tank again, you don't really feel super alive and rejuvenated and energized afterwards. I used to then overeat and go to bed a little bit later and not really feel physically great in my body. And so then what happens when you do this day after day after day is you are more introverted and you crave that downtime, you crave that alone time, but you're not using that alone time in the most energizing way, is you carry around a sort of drag or a slight, or maybe not so slight, kind of constant exhaustion. where you're a little bit tired of being yourself. You're kind of exhausted by yourself in your own life. And even though you can take a step back and look at your life, and maybe it doesn't make sense that you're exhausted by it, you kind of are. And it shows up for many of you, and it definitely showed up for me as a sort of constant restlessness, where I just all the time carried around with me, and of course not like all the time, but the majority of the time, I carried around with me a restless feeling, a buzzy vibration in my body, a tenseness, a tightness where I was kind of on high alert all of the time. And so this could be restless. It might have been overwhelm or stress or anxiety or pressure, or just like always feeling so buzzy in my body. And for you, my extroverted friends, you may experience this as well. You may experience these buzzy feelings in your body maybe when you are with people socially, right? So maybe you fill up your energy tanks when you're with people socially, but then you're feeling like these buzzy vibrations with other people because you also don't know how to kind of calm your mind down in those social situations. So whether you're more introverted leaning or extroverted leaning in what you're seeking, if you're seeking more downtime, seeking more alone time, or you're seeking more social time if you do lean more extroverted, but if you are introverted and you want that downtime and alone time, and then you're not fully relaxing and feeling energized in that time, right? Or if you are more extroverted and you're seeking that social interaction, but again, you're not fully energized by that experience, and how you know is if you're feeling restless and angst and tense and tight in your body, then you're not fully present in those experiences and you're not creating the energy and the aliveness and the vibrance that is possible for you. And then you don't get to experience your life in the way that you know you really want to experience it. And so what I want you to just kind of ask yourself before I share with you how to work through this is this you? My guess is it is definitely you on some level. And how it shows up is by not being fully present. So ask yourself, where are you not present in how you choose to kind of fill up your own energy, if that is more downtime or if it is more social time? And if it is more downtime, if you do find yourself more introverted leaning, why aren't you present in how you choose to kind of fill up your own energy stores? And where do you notice yourself feeling more restless or angst or tense or tight in your body? Where do you notice yourself feeling those kind of buzzy vibrations constantly so that you can be on the lookout for them? And I'm going to teach you how to release yourself from them. And now, side note, of course, we as humans all desire some social interaction. And so I know I'm sort of bundling you into two groups, more introverted leaning, more extroverted leaning, but you know what I mean. You kind of get the gist. And so I do think there are some of us that do seek more social interaction and we feel really energized by it. I say we as in some of you because I'm not, I don't know what that's like. Listen, side note, I feel very drained when I am with people for long, prolonged periods of time socially. Especially, I remember when COVID first started, my husband and I are both very introverted. And we were like, game on. Now we need to see less people. This is perfect. Just as far as the social piece goes, right? And I say that in sort of jest, but also kind of serious. And so now I also work from home. I work with my clients and I think about all of you all of the time. And I noticed this last mastermind I went to. I'm in a mastermind for other entrepreneurs that have similar businesses to mine. And I just noticed I was so exhausted when I got home. Like an exhaustion that I can't quite articulate. And I was just like, why am I so tired? I mean, I slept fine. And like, yes, I was stretching my brain and like thinking about my business and like imagining the future of my business and like stretching my brain on like a strategic level for my business. But there was also just an added layer of the social exhaustion. Partly because I don't interact with a ton of humans working from home and having an online business in the way that I used to, but also because I do just feel drained when I am around a lot of humans for prolonged periods of social time. So what I want to say with all of that is just kind of know the way you lean, right? And my guess is, I know because I hear from a lot of you are sometimes more introverted leaning like me. And I choose to think that me, like kind of conserving my social energy is how I tap into my own genius. And when I have that energy saved up, I get to use my own genius, create from my own genius, and then share with all of you. So it's a beautiful thing. So, like I was saying before, I used to go to work and come home and have just like the greatest anticipation protection bubble around my alone time. Like the time where I would get to be by myself, where I would watch TV, eat my snacks, drink some wine, scroll on my phone. But I would simultaneously be feeling restless and almost a little jittery, and sometimes be worrying about the next day or the next deadline at work, or my employee on my team who told me he would get me something by 5 p.m. and didn't again. And I would be worried about like what that would mean for me and like the project deadline. And I would constantly find myself saying to myself, well, I can finally relax when ... When I get this project done, when I finish the list of to-dos, when I have $10 million and I can retire. And now I look at some retired people with millions of dollars and they're still restless, anxious, searching for that alone downtime. But then when they do get their alone downtime, they have 5 distractions running at once. So when you are more introverted and you seek that downtime, but you haven't developed the skill of being able to be with yourself, no matter what you do, whether or not you're in that alone time or that downtime, or you are with people socially, when you don't know how to be with yourself without a distraction, you don't really feel energized in your alone time and in your alone time. So it makes total sense that you want to eat. You eat snacks, you drink wine, you maybe stay up a little bit later than you wanted, and you don't fully enjoy that downtime. Now, this is not to say you need to get out a meditation pillow and be still every night and completely zen to feel energized. Now, you might. I actually told myself for most of my adult life where I was ever into anything self-help related that I was like, I couldn't just not meditate. Like my brain just goes way too fast. And for years and years, I used to tell myself this. But the more and more I practice the skill of feeling emotions in my body, feeling those vibrations, understanding them, letting them pass through me deliberately, the more my brain has slowed in a super productive way, and the more efficient I am, and the easier it is for me to relax. So, side note, maybe you do meditate, but that isn't like my intention for you, is to just like sit by yourself in like the calm breeze or like a dark room and just have no thoughts at all. I love a good mind-numbing TV show. Yes, Real Housewives, I do love you sometimes. And so you might want to entertain yourself with TV or a book, or I used to watch hours and hours, not all at the same time, but hours and hours of coaching call replays in a program I was in, or I love a good podcast or audiobook, right? But how you know if what you're doing in your alone time or your downtime as an introvert trying to fill up your energy tank, how you know if it serves you is if you feel the energizing, alive, vibrant feeling in your body versus actually feeling slightly drained when you're done. So you can ask yourself this. Do you feel relaxed or are you worrying about tomorrow? Do you feel engaged with the TV show? Are you loving the TV show, or are you on the lookout for the next snack? Do you feel the soft, melty feeling in your body of the peacefulness and the calm and the enjoyment? Or are you feeling tense and tight and buzzy in your body? Ryan, my husband, he knows me so well. And sometimes he will say to me, hey, do you know you're buzzing right now? And what he means is like buzzing as in like I'm feeling very anxious and I'm like reacting to that anxiety by like buzzing around, kind of like picking things up or like tidying kind of like frantically, not like excited buzzing. And so like, are you in the buzzy feeling when you are in your alone time and your downtime? And so what I want you to ask yourself is if you do turn to food, because of course it makes sense. It's an easy way to think you're relaxing, to think you're decompressing, to think you're escaping, but you're not really, because as soon as you're done with the food, you're either searching for more food or you don't feel great in your body. And so I want you to ask yourself this instead. How do you want to feel physically in your body going to bed? What do you want to be doing in your energy rejuvenation time that you have for yourself? What is more fun than food? Myself tomorrow really loves feeling good, right? And so sometimes we're like, well, food is really fun, But is it really though? Does yourself tomorrow agree, right? Ask yourself going to bed or ask yourself tomorrow. I love enjoying food. I eat chocolate every single night. But myself tomorrow doesn't have like strong repercussions from it. Myself tomorrow still feels great and energized and alive in my body. And so, what is more fun for you than food? What is more energizing for you than food? What is more even comforting for you than food? Because it has a long-term lasting, like beautiful integration in your life. It's not just a fleeting moment. So I love going to bed feeling good, feeling energized, knowing I will wake up having gotten a great night's sleep, not worrying about the sugar or the snack bloat in the morning. And so I want you to know you have habits and those old habits are going to come up. So you want to expect them. And for me, feeling anxious and pressury and having so much anticipation for the evening, like when I think back years ago for me, where I would tell myself, oh, I finally get to relax then. I finally get to relax then. I used to like get my snack bowl of popcorn and I wouldn't even make it to the couch before I was digging into it. And I didn't even want Ryan to talk to me. I was just like, leave me alone. And I would never eat my snacks without the TV on. Like I would have turned the TV on, found the show, have hit play, then went back into the kitchen, and you can see our TV from the kitchen, then have gone back into the kitchen, gotten the bowl, filled it up with popcorn, literally started to mindlessly eat it on my way to the couch, be halfway there and be like, well, it's not perfect. The bowl's not filled up all the way to the brim with the perfect amount of popcorn, like barely hanging out. I better go back to the kitchen to get some more popcorn so we can like go back and have the perfect downtime. Like, no. And so if this is you and there's a habit you don't want to perpetuate, I want you to be honest with yourself and say, hey, self, I have this habit. I don't want to perpetuate. I am going to change it. And don't underestimate the power of saying it out loud. Verbally say out loud, this is a habit I want to change. So if you have a habit of introverted eating at night, watching TV, and you listen to this podcast tonight, I want you to, when you feel that urge to perpetuate that habit, to execute on that habit again, I want you to say to yourself, this is a habit that I currently have, and it's a habit I want to change. And ready? Fastest way to change this habit is to feel the emotion, is to feel the feeling, is to embrace it and not distract yourself from the feeling and not to react to the feeling. So if you feel restless, for example, and you can insert any other feeling into restless. It might be restless, it might be stress, it might be overwhelmed, it might be doubtful, it might be, if you're procrastinating, whatever that procrastinating emotion is for you, dread, angst, whatever it is. It could even be excited. If you are feeling and you expect, okay, so tonight I'm going to want to relax and I know maybe I feel a little restless. Maybe I feel a little stressed. Maybe I feel a little wound up and I feel like I'm buzzing, right? This is a vibration in my body. Whatever that emotion is for you, I'm going to continue on with restlessness, but you insert whatever that emotion is. There's a restless vibration in my body. You say to yourself, yep, habit I want to change. I don't want to be my introverted eating self anymore. I just want to relax and really enjoy my own time and really enjoy my own company. And I'll share with you some ways to do that. But the fastest way to make this change without willpower is to feel the emotion. So you remind yourself, oh, this is a restless vibration in my body. It's coming from my mind. I don't even need to understand where it's coming from, why I'm having it. I'm just going to be curious and understand and explore this vibration in my body, this emotion in my body. So how you do this is you want to describe that particular emotion. So A, habit I want to change. B, name the emotion. C, describe it in neutral, objective language so that your brain learns, oh, this is an emotion in my body. This is a vibration I'm experiencing. It is not a problem that needs to be solved, and it's definitely not a problem that needs to be solved with food. So restless. Oh, it's a buzziness in my chest. It has a vibrational frequency between my shoulders. If I was going to tell a little kid what this felt like, I would maybe tell the little kid it feels like guitar strings vibrating really quickly in my chest. The guitar strings are tight and they vibrate, and there's an energy that it feels like it's going to lift me up a little bit. And the texture of the restless vibration in my body is thin and tight and it's smooth. The guitar strings are very tight and smooth as they vibrate, and the color is white. And again, the point of saying this out loud, or what I actually suggest you do is write it down, is you're simply teaching your brain, this is an emotion in my body. This is a vibration I'm experiencing. Describing it, like the example I just gave you in how I described restless. Describing it, the action of doing that, the action of describing it by either saying it out loud or writing it down, brings your brain's attention and awareness to the vibration in your body. It's like shining a light on the restlessness in my chest. And what happens is it actually dissipates. So the guitar strings start moving more slowly, they loosen, and they fall away. And if you are doing this and practicing this and you notice your brain going to like frantic problem solving or worrying or doubting and you want to go to eat, you're not doing it right. This, my friends, is how you break the introverted eating habit. It's really how you break any habit. You simply embrace the emotion, shine the light on that emotion, understand it as a vibration in your body because you're teaching your brain this vibration is not a problem. I can feel this and it's not a problem I need to solve right now. And when you do this, what happens is the break between that feeling and you eating is broken. It's created. That break is there. Because if you feel restless each night, trying to get your downtime or stressed or anxious or overwhelmed, and you eat habitually, your brain then has created a restless eating habit. Or if you're used to eating from a procrastinating type of emotion, right? You have a negative anticipation of doing something in the future. So you feel a feeling right now and your brain's like, oh, maybe we could distract ourselves with a snack. Any action of overeating, eating when you're not hungry, eating food that doesn't serve you, eating past the point of being satisfied is always associated with an emotion. And if you know what that emotion is and you can embrace that emotion, teach your brain, hey, this is just a vibration in my body and it's not a problem I need to solve with food, habit broken. This is also one of the reasons why in the beginning, when I'm first teaching someone how to be naturally thin, you want to eat without other distractions so that you understand really what hunger feels like. You understand your optimal satisfaction levels and you stop eating as a distraction technique from restless or from overwhelm or from stress or anxiety with the TV on or with your phone on or while you're working. Because when you have a habitual association to overeat as a way to distract yourself from a feeling in your body, it's a lot harder to be in tune with that and to change that habit when you simultaneously have the TV on or you're working or you're on your phone. Because friends, there is only one reason you overeat ever. It's always to distract yourself or to avoid a feeling, an emotion in your body. Always, always, always. That urge to eat, that strong pull from your chest, the desire to eat when you aren't hungry, to eat food that you know is not going to feel good in your body, or to eat past your energized, nourished, and optimal satisfaction level is always, always, always because of an emotion. And for those of us introverts who get our energy tank filled up with downtime, but we simultaneously have this fast-paced, what I call like a brilliant mind battle, constant problem-solving brain, we often have a easier tendency to become an introverted eater. But being an introverted eater doesn't create a naturally thin body. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to ask yourself, how do you want to feel going to bed tonight? Physically, describe it, write it out. How do you want to feel in your body, laying in bed, closing your eyes, starting to fall asleep? And then as soon as you run into a habit you want to break, I want you to say it out loud. This is a habit I want to change. And remember, the fastest way there is to feel the emotion that is driving the habit. Every single habit is driven by an emotion. And sometimes we aren't necessarily aware of that emotion because it happens so quickly. But what I want you to do is know the habit you want to change. You say it out loud and it cues to your brain, oh, this is a habit I want to change. Take a minute, pause. What is the emotion driving that habit? Name the emotion and then describe it objectively. and watch that emotion dissipate. Watch it actually leave your body. And then ready? Here's the fun parts. I mean, it's all fun, but this is the really fun part. Imagine your naturally thin self, the version of you who has your dream body. She's at your goal weight. She has the relationship with food you've always wanted. What does she think about? How does she feel? What does she do differently? What does she do in a way that is no longer introverted eating? What is more fun than food? What is more energizing for you as your introverted self than snacks with TV? Sometimes for me, it's going to bed early. Sometimes it's a Marco Polo with a couple of my friends. Sometimes it's watching an episode of Real Housewives. Sometimes it is talking with Ryan. Sometimes it's looking at old pictures and old videos of my kids. Sometimes it's journaling. And every night I eat chocolate. Always. I just love it. And never while doing anything else other than enjoying it. I include it in my buckets. It's an indulgence that I just love to eat. And I eat it. I feel good. I go to bed feeling the way I physically want to feel. And then I do any of these other things I just mentioned. I don't need to eat my chocolate while I'm watching TV. Because when I eat my chocolate and then I watch my Real Housewives, I get to enjoy each of them in their own enjoyment. I don't need to commingle them together because I'm not eating the chocolate or watching the TV show as a way to distract myself from being with myself. And so what do you want to do that's more fun than food, that's more energizing than food? And it's never worrying about tomorrow, eating to distract yourself, or telling yourself that eating at night is taking care of yourself, that it's comforting. It isn't comforting when you're overeating. It is the ultimate in discomfort, both physically and emotionally. So instead, ask yourself, how do I want to feel physically going to bed? What's the habit I want to break? Say it out loud. This is a habit I want to change. Name that emotion. Feel that emotion, describe it in your body, watch it dissipate, and then hang out with your naturally thin self. And friends, if this is you and you want help with this, join me in the Naturally Thin for Life program. It is where you not only learn new tools that aren't taught here on the podcast, but it's also how you apply everything you learn and make a permanent change. It's for those of you who know how you want to eat, you know what you want to do, but something is just missing. And for so many of you, it is this skill, the skill of letting emotions pass through your body without them taking hold, the skill of being with yourself, the skill of not feeling restless and pressure and anxiety and stress all of the time. The Naturally Thin for Life program is how you feel calmly in control, especially with food, all of the time. All right, my friends, I hope you all have an amazing week, and I'll talk to you all next time. Friend, if you are loving what you are learning here on the podcast, you have to come check out my Naturally Thin for Life program. It is my on-demand lifetime access program where I teach you brand new concepts not taught here on the podcast. And I will walk you through exactly how to implement all of the tools I teach you here so that they become just a part of you. You will learn exactly how to understand your specific brain and your specific body so that you become naturally thin for the rest of your life and you no longer struggle with your weight. Inside of the Naturally Thin for Life program, you can also receive live help so that you consistently make progress and reach your goal. I will teach you how to accelerate your naturally thin journey in a sustainable way so that the change becomes permanent. The best part is that it's risk-free. You either love it or I will give you your money back. If you are ready to finally be naturally thin for life, join us at lauradixoncoaching.com/work with me. That's LAURADIXON coaching.com and click on the Work With Me tab. I cannot wait to see you there.